Hello and happy February, patrons. Today I have a restorative practice for you, and I know it's been a little while since I've shared a yoga recording with you. I don't know about you, but January was a bit of a whirlwind. I did share a few recipe posts with you, and so I hope you will check those out. There's some really nice kind of refreshing, cleansing, nourishing, nutritive, very sort of fresh start of the year recipe posts on this Patreon. There's the dandelion greens chimichurri sauce, a winter orangey citrus carrot salad, a wonderful, tasty, and nourishing chickpea stew soup recipe from my mom, and also something I called a return to life salad, which I was having right around the new year after the holidays. It just felt really good and sort of cleansing and refreshing. So I hope you will check those out. But it is time to do some yoga. Hopefully, you have done some yoga since the last time you tuned in to this Patreon. But I thought it would be opportune to do a restorative practice for today. I feel like the start of the year has been kind of busy, a little bit hectic for a lot of people. And so it is important to certainly take time to restore not just our bodies, but also to let our minds rest as well, to let the brain rest as well. So that's what we are going to do today. Since it is a restorative practice, you are going to want to have all your props handy. So get them all out: blankets, blocks, chair, mats, bolster, whatever you have. And of course, as always, you can improvise if you don't have everything exactly as I have it. Belts too, of course. So the whole shebang. Okay, so we are going to start off actually with a little bit of a back bending to bring some lightness into the chest and hopefully a little bit of lightness into the head as well, not in a getting lightheaded sort of way, but sometimes, like, I don't know about you, but I've been doing my taxes, and if there's taxes and paperwork and lots of mental things you're dealing with, that can make the head feel a little bit heavy. And that is not a good feeling. And so sometimes doing some chest opening poses and letting the head hang back can be helpful for bringing a little bit more of a sense of lightness into the head and upper body, and sort of more of a quieting quality in the brain if it's done correctly. So we'll just start with a basic back bend here over the chair. You can four-fold, quarter-fold your sticky mat, put it over the chair seat. Carefully step into the chair. The pose is Dvipada Viparita Dandasana. If you do not have a backless chair, you could, of course, use a stool or an ottoman, or lay over a bed or even a couch or a bench. And then up to you if you want to have something underneath your feet. With my kind of the length of my body and limbs, I don't need that. It doesn't necessarily benefit me. But if you are, let's say, even a little bit shorter than me, or just have a little bit shorter limbs, you may want to have something underneath your feet. Feet can be in the middle of the room or at the wall. So to lay back into the chair, don't rush till the end of the pose. Make sure you're moving progressively. So let's start with just the very tops of the shoulders on the chair seat. And let's start with the knees bent. And you can even take your hands behind your head at the base of the skull. Take a couple slower, deeper breaths in and out the nose, smooth, soft breath. And just gently lift your head, look towards your navel, maybe even lift the buttocks a little bit, lengthen the tailbone, lengthen the top buttocks away from the lower back. Let that back body spread and widen. And then keeping that width across the back body, let yourself arc back. So we're just starting with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor, just the very tops of the shoulders cascading off the seat of the chair. And hands gently resting on the backrest of the chair. You can also let the elbows drop down below the seat of the chair. Smooth, soft breath. Just let go the tension in your head. Stay here for a few breath cycles. Okay, then you can start to ease off the chair, keeping that length in your back. And start to ease off the chair so the middle shoulder blades are on the back, the edge of the chair seat there. And look for the areas of tension. Can you release? Can you soften? Can you let go? And if there is, let's say, a sense of heaviness in the head, or anywhere. See if you can lessen that sensation, almost like you're emptying out with the exhale. So empty out with the exhale. All right, then you'll slide off until the bottom tips of the shoulder blades are on the chair seat. Now here you can slide your hands underneath the seat of the chair, grab hold of the chair legs, straighten the legs out one at a time. Not too wide with the legs here, feet about hip width. And as you exhale, tighten the knees, extend through the inner legs, extend through the inner heels. And you can give the legs of the chair a little tug and let yourself arc over that seat of the chair. And just give yourself some time here. So we are taking time in the poses today. You know, with restorative poses, we use supports and we set the poses up in such a way that we can generally stay quite a bit longer than, let's say, if we were working in a very muscularly demanding or rigorous or very active way. So we want to stay longer to receive the benefits of the pose, not just physically, but in terms of the hormonal system, in terms of the organic system, letting the blood return to the organs, and also for quieting the mind. So as you inhale, let that upper chest gently fill. And then as you exhale, don't push the air out, just let the air go. Let the out breath happen, keeping some of that fullness of the chest and keeping the abdomen deflated the whole time. We'll stay here a little longer. Now, of course, with any of these poses, if you wish to stay longer than I am doing in the recording, and if it's still a breathable pose, an enjoyable pose, a helpful pose, then stay longer. When it's time to come out, bend your knees, use your hands, press your elbows into the seat of the chair, take your upper back in, lift your chest, press your hands into the chair seat. The head is the last thing to come up. Give yourself a moment to let your circulation, your blood pressure normalize and adapt. Okay, we're going to repeat this pose, but you have the option now to take a couple of different variations. So I'm going to give you a couple of different options for ways to work. So if it feels perfectly fine for you to let that head go back, and you want maybe a little bit more lift of the chest or a little bit more lift behind the tailbone, what you can do then is take a blanket, and you'll take a blanket and roll it tight. You don't want it too thick. So these Indian blankets, these Puna blankets, are thinner than the Mexican style blankets. So if you have a thicker blanket, you may need to unfold it a bit to make it more open. And then you would make a nice little tube here and then place that right in the middle of the chair lengthwise. So your sacrum and even a little bit of your head and neck will rest on the blanket. Now, if, let's say, it does not feel good for you to take your head back, you could still use this, but you could also skip the blanket tube here and take a bolster down for your head. And one way, there's many ways to use the bolster. You could just have it flat like this. You could tilt the bolster up on a block. And there's also a way, I'll just show, where you could take you'll probably want to put a sticky mat down so the bolster doesn't go sliding away. You could take two bolsters and stack them up so that when you lie back, your neck is just being supported by the curve of the bolster. So I'll actually show this, and then I'm going to show a few different ways, and you could try all the ways, or you could decide the way that you think is going to be most best serve you this morning or this for this practice. So again, we want to keep our back long as we get into the chair, and then you'll have just that curve of the neck. supported by the curve of the bolster. And you can keep the legs bent, or you can straighten the legs. You could even experiment with different arm positions here. You could clasp hold of the elbows, let the arms reach overhead, and just enjoy that nice soothing quality on the neck. Now, this can also be done with the bolster a little bit lower. So we could do just one bolster tilted. And then, of course, you could also support the feet if you need as well. So many ways to do this one pose. So here my head's coming down a bit more, but I am supporting my neck on the bolster. I'm kind of holding that bolster in place with my arms as well. Now we can also do with more of the back crown of the head supported on a bolster. So this would be a little bit more back, back bendy with the upper back. You don't want to smush your head on the bolster, but we can also go in. My hair is probably gonna just hit it, but with the back crown of the head supported, and then the throat opens. But this can be a little bit more easeful for some than just letting the head hang back. Okay, now I actually, for the most part, like that feeling, that sort of lightness that comes when the head hangs back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that way myself. But I just wanted to give you that picture because obviously we have all different conditions from day to day. So we want to be able to modify and work with our props as needed, right? We're not the same day to day. So I'm just going to take that nice tube and I'm not going to have anything else other than the sticky mat and the chair. And then I carefully step in, letting that sacrum, that tailbone rest on the blanket, and then arcing back. And I like this little extra lift that I get now for the tailbone and for my thoracic spine. And then you can extend those legs straight again. Always you have the option to elevate the feet, especially if there's low backache or if you just can't get your legs straight with the feet on the floor. And then we can reach the arms overhead. So elbows tight, palms facing each other. I know my elbows may not look totally straight because of my carrying angle in the arms, but elbows straight, reaching overhead. You can also turn the palms up. We can fold the arms, let those arms release overhead. You can also clasp the hands like a namaskar prayer position and place the thumbs underneath the chin. And then let that weight of the arms gently draw the head back and let the throat open. For some of us, this feels good to relieve congestion in the throat, neck area. Congestion, not so much in like a mucusy cold way, but meaning if there's stuckness, tension, the throat can be a major place where we hold emotional tension. So letting that throat open out. We'll stay a little bit longer. Make sure that your legs are, how do I say, the legs are supporting you. So we don't want to be loose or casual with the legs. You can intentionally have the knees bent, or of course the feet elevated. But if the legs are straight, have them really straight. Ground the upper thighs down. All right, and then exit as mindfully as with as much awareness as you came in. Bend the knees. Place the elbows on the seat of the chair. Press on the seat of the chair. Lift your chest. Head is the last thing to come up. Remove that blanket if you have that blanket roll on the chair seat. And then just sit for a moment. Give yourself a moment to simply sit, to observe. Have there been any changes in the feeling around your head, neck, or anywhere else that you can notice? Personally, I feel the head feels a little bit lighter now. I just feel like things have opened out a little bit. So it's a good feeling. Okay, let's go ahead and step out of the chair. We are going to take downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And of course, there are many ways to do downward dog. Today, we are going to start with the heels at the wall, hands to the middle of the room. If there's another way you need to practice this pose for you right now, of course, take care of yourself, take care of that. But let's just have the hands to the middle of the room, the heels at the wall. So hands should be shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart, even a little wider is fine. If you do find yourself slipping, you can always grab the sticky mat, take the center heels to the wall. And as you exhale, draw those hips up and back. Release your head down, take your shoulder blades into your back. Relax your jaw. Throat soft, base of the skull soft. Draw the hips back, lengthen the waist, tighten the kneecaps. And as you press those heels into the wall, do you notice that your upper body can get a little lighter? So drive the center heel into the wall, tighten the knees, take more weight back into your legs, use that wall to press into, and notice, can the upper body get lighter? All right, bend the knees, big toes together, knees apart. Draw the hips back to the heels, reach those arms forward, head down. Adho Mukha Virasana. Let's take the hands to a bolster or blocks for Adho Mukha Virasana to get more opening in the armpits. A little bit of extension for the back as well. So buttock bones to the heels, big toes together, knees apart. Take the hands on a bolster or block. Look forward, reach those arms forward, extend from the outer hip to the armpit, open from the armpits to the palm of the hands, and then take that head down, taking your chest closer to the floor. Relax your jaw. Relax the base of the tongue, root of the tongue. We're going to stay here for several seconds. Just watch that ebb and flow of the breath. All right, Parsva Adho Mukha Virasana. Keep the hips anchored, especially that left hip anchored. Take the blocks with you. Walk the upper body over to the right. Keep the ears in line with your upper arms. Your head will probably not touch the floor here. That's fine. We're not staying for long. Walk the upper body over to the left. Anchor down that right hip. Walk the upper body over to the left. Keep the blocks where they are. Take the hands back to center. Reach those arms way far forward. Look forward. Come onto the cup-shaped fingertips. So be on the fingertips. Tighten the elbows. Look forward. Take the upper back into the body. Open your chest to the floor. And then spread your palms. Spread your fingers. Take your head down. Okay. And walk your hands in and sit up. Okay, let's take a couple of twists. And then we're going to move into some supine poses. So for the twist today, let's sit on a little extra height to help with the upliftment of the spine and the buoyancy in the upper body and the chest. So let's go ahead and sit on a bolster with that bolster horizontal ways, and then take a block and just have that block behind you. You may need that. And then let's sit with those legs nice and straight. So you're up on a height, you're sitting in Dandasana. Extend the legs forward, press your palms into the bolster, roll the shoulder blades down your back, lift the chest from bottom to top. Keep the left leg as it is, draw that right leg in, and then we'll take that left arm. You can either just give that right leg a hug or cross it over the right leg and turn from left to right. You can use that right hand on the block. Inhale to get taller, exhale to turn further. And exhale, release, straighten the right leg, hold behind the left knee, bring that left leg in. We're taking Marichyasana 3. So you can either just give that left leg a little hug with your right arm or cross the right arm over the left leg. Take your back hand to the brick and turn to the left. If you have a wall close by, you could even use that wall. Work with the exhale to turn. The exhale gives you the freedom to turn. Inhale to get taller, exhale to turn further. Okay. And then exhale, release. All right, take a block, put that block down in front of your bolster. Let's take the right foot up onto the block. And then inhale, take the left arm up. Exhale, cross the left arm over the right leg. Keep that left leg straight. And then turn from left to right. So you're wringing the abdomen out, turning from left to right. Exhale, get taller to release. Don't sink or shrink as you release. Straighten the right leg, bend the left leg. Let's draw that left leg in, put the foot on the block, and then turn to the left. Now, let's say if you're on your period or if you should not be doing closed twisting like this for any reason, you could do Marichyasana 1. So you could turn towards the straight-legged side, and then that's an open twist. Otherwise, we can do this closed twist. So this should be done also on an empty belly because we're really wringing the abdomen out, turning that abdomen from right to left. Again, you can take the hand to the wall if that's within your reach. And let the head be the last thing to turn. You could even look away as you're turning to the left, look to the right foot. Exhale to turn to the left, wring the abdomen out, turn the abdomen right to left, and then let that head follow, being the last thing to turn. And exhale, get taller to release, straighten out both legs. Okay, let's turn this bolster. We're going to turn the bolster vertical wise, or we're turning it 90 degrees. And we're going to take Bharadvajasana 1. So we'll do one more seated twist. Sweep the legs to the left, bend the right leg, bend the left leg, let the left ankle rest on the instep of the right foot. We are sitting on height today to support this sense of buoyancy and upliftment of the spine, the head, the upper body. Inhale, reach your arms up, tighten the elbows. Reach the arms up, not to arch your back, but to make vertical space between the top hip and the bottom rib, to make space along the side waist. Keep that left hip anchored down and then turn to the right. Inhale to get taller. Exhale to turn. Pardon me. Exhale, release, change sides. Straighten the legs out in between sides. Make sure your ankles are not on a hard surface. So we want the sticky mat underneath the ankles. And then you'll bend the left leg, bend the right leg, anchor that right hip down, sit on the Virasana leg. Inhale, reach your arms up, tighten the elbows, reach up to extend the side waist, anchor the right hip down, turn to the left, take your hands down, and then turn from right to left. Exhale to release. Let's sit in Dandasana one more time. Simply straighten the legs out, stay up on the bolster, reach down through the fingertips, roll the shoulder blades down the back, tighten the knees, extend from the calves to the heels, and open the bottoms of the feet. Okay, we're going to move into a couple of supine poses. The first one is actually going to be a more active supine pose. So we are going to take brick Paryankasana, which I did have a student say to me once, I never thought Paryankasana was a restorative pose, but you could do this with a bolster if you want it to be a little softer of a pose, but I think it is a very restorative pose. So let's have a blanket for our shins. And then we're going to have one block for the middle back, one block for the head. Again, you can use a bolster instead. Actually, I'll show that next. And then come into Virasana. So knees together, feet apart. If you're not able to sit in Virasana, you could have the legs in a simple cross-legged position as well. Let the buttocks sit down between the heels, and then position that block wide and high. So it's just at the bottom shoulder blade area, maybe even a little bit below the shoulder blades. So the bottom edge of the block is a little bit below the shoulder blades. So it's supporting the arc of the chest. And then have your head supported on the block. And let the arms release down to your sides, palms up. Now with the block on the wide orientation, it gets a little bit more at the ribs, those back ribs. You can also try, though, taking the block on the narrow orientation, and especially if you are a little bit of a narrower build, that may work better for you. So obviously you can try both. More than one way to do every pose. We just want to understand the benefits and the effects of what we're doing. So knees together, feet apart. Let the buttocks descend down between the heels. And then you can arc over that brick. Let the head be supported. Now here also, you can take your hands at the base of the skull, lift your head slightly, lengthen the skin at the back of the skull, even look down to the chest, and then keep the back of the neck long. Let that head be supported. And then take your arms down and let the face settle. Let the shoulders settle. Let the right shoulder release to the right, left shoulder release to the left. And even if your butt is not touching the floor, just let the butt drop. Let the roots of the thighs drop. Now you may wish to experiment a little bit with the placement of that block behind the back. Sometimes just moving it up or down on the back by a centimeter or two can make a difference. I'll be here a couple of minutes. Now, I do also want to show, for those who want to try with the bolster, you can use a bolster. Of course, always be careful coming out of these poses. So with the bolster, what you can do is you can take that bolster and put it, maybe put a blanket to make it a little bit taller, depending on your flexibility, your torso length, your spinal flexibility. And then again, we can come into Virasana, knees together, feet apart, and arc over that bolster, let the head go back. And then here you can fold the arms, let the arms drop back, just as you would for Paryankasana without support. So the head goes back. And your back is being supported by the bolster. And if you are folding the elbows and holding the elbows, you can change the cross. And then again, let those arms go up and over. Okay, and then when it's time to come out, lift the chest to come out. Now be sure to take time to straighten your legs coming out of Virasana, even if you don't have knee issues. Let's keep it that way. So make sure you really tighten the kneecaps, make them really tight, make the knees dense, press the heels down, tighten the knees, open out the backs of the legs. Okay, we're going to do a twist now. So let us take that bolster and have it sticking out of the right hip, making a T with the right hip. I believe the pose is called Adho Mukha Parshva Pavanmuktasana. I am not 100% sure about that, but it follows. Okay, you may want to make the bolster a little bit taller by adding a blanket or two, especially if it's a more flat bolster. And then you're going to bend your left knee into left leg into Virasana. If that doesn't work for your knees, you can keep both legs extended straight. And then as you turn, you're going to rotate down to that bolster. So you're turning and then you're laying that left side chest on the bolster. And then you just let the legs go and let yourself rest. And you can rest your head in your hand. If it works for you to look to your right, you can turn that head all the way to the right. And it's just a gentle elongation, kind of stretch for the neck. And then just let yourself sink in. So as you exhale, relax your shoulders. Can you get more of your chest, your waist, the abdomen on the bolster, and just let yourself sink in? And let the breath smooth out, smooth, soft breaths in and out the nose. Relax your jaw. And you may notice, you may wish to observe here, what is the pattern of the breath? So, when we're supine or face down or in sort of I guess we're sort of prone and a little bit in rotation here, we're going to feel the breath in different parts of the lungs. So just going for those smooth, soft breaths, you can just notice, where do you feel the breath? And after a couple minutes, a few minutes, again, you can always stay longer, we'll come up and then with minimal disturbance, change sides. Now, one thing I noticed is that my ankles were on this sort of hard floor, which was not a very soothing quality. It created an unnecessary tension. So you may wish to put a thin blanket down underneath your ankles or have a sticky mat underneath you. We don't want to have that kind of tension of the bones hitting a hard surface. It's not helpful. And then we'll bend that right leg into Virasana or keep both legs extended long. And then you rotate and you turn. Exhale to turn down into that bolster and let yourself rest. Let your jaw relax, let yourself settle in. Exhale to relax across the face, to just let go. Let the breath smooth out, smooth, soft breaths in and out the nose, and then observe the breath pattern here. So we tend to be able to access more of the back lungs in these prone positions, so you can go with that. Let the back ribs gently expand with the inhale, and then when it's time to exhale, simply let the breath go. Don't push the air out. A little bit longer here. All right. And then inhale to come up, and then let's straighten out the left leg. Okay, now you could continue on from here with, let's say, a prone shavasana. You could do more supine poses, Supta Baddha Konasana. I have a number of other restorative recordings on my Patreon that show other restorative poses, restorative sequences. But I'm going to keep it kind of short and sweet today. And the pose we're going to do next is a variation of Viparita Karani. So you're going to take a bolster, have it in the middle of the room on a sticky mat. And then on top of that bolster, you're going to stack up blocks or blankets to make a little more height. And we're going to leave this part of the bolster exposed because that's going to support the lift of the chest. Now, you may also wish to just put a thin blanket down underneath where your shoulders and your head are going to go. Just a thin blanket. We don't want any bulky anything there. That's not going to be helpful. And then you'll build up this height. Build up this height. All right, and then we are going to, one more thing, have space on your foot side, and then also have a strap handy as well. So you're going to have space on, I have all these different belts here. You're going to have space on the side where your head goes and the side where your feet goes, and then just have a belt handy. Okay, and then we're going to place the sacrum up on the height and then recline back so that the tops of your shoulders just touch the floor, just touch. And again, there should be a nice arcing, open shape of the chest, almost a verticality of the chest in relationship to the floor. And you can just be here for a moment. It's sort of a Setu Bandha, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, let your body adjust. Back of the neck is long and the chest should lift towards the chin. Exhale to excavate across the face. To empty the face, to empty the thoughts. See the thoughts out the door with the exhale. Okay, and then we'll raise those legs up into a Viparita Karani. So shoulders are down, legs are up. Also for menstruation, you would not do this with the legs up. You could actually just stay in this Setu Bandha here, or take another Setu Bandha of choice. And then extend those legs up, otherwise tighten the knees. Go for 90 degrees with the legs. Abdomen soft. Abdomen is quiet, soft, deflated, spreading like a quiet pool. And relax your feet. Tighten the knees, relax your feet. Let that inhale gently fill the chest, fill behind the sternum bone. Stay a little longer. And stay here for a few minutes if you can. Okay, next up though, we'll take that strap. We'll take sort of a variation of, you can think of it as like a variation of Ekapada, Setubandha Sarvangasana, one-legged formation of a bridge. Certainly some elements of Supta Padangustasana in here as well. So you'll take that strap around the right foot, extend that right leg up to the ceiling, holding the strap, and then reach that left leg out long and straight. The left leg will likely not touch the floor, that's fine. So exhale, relax your toes, make your legs really tight, kneecaps tight, abdomen soft. And then change over, take the left leg up into the belt, extend that right leg out long, reach that right leg longer and longer, tighten the knees. Relax your jaw, relax your face. Grip the kneecaps tight. Okay, now take the right leg up, left, so both legs are up in the air. Carefully remove the belt. So you may wish to bend the knees, don't hit yourself with the buckle. Carefully remove the belt. Extend both legs up, back up, Viparita Karani. Keep the right leg up and then extend that left leg down. Reach that left leg down, raise the right leg up. You can bring that right leg even closer to you than 90 degrees. Grip the kneecaps, extend from the inner groin to the inner heel of both legs. The inseam of the leg gets longer. Even if you're wearing shorts, the inseam of the whole leg gets longer. And then bring the left leg up, right leg down. Grip the kneecaps, extend through the inner legs. Make those legs longer, make the legs straighter, make the kneecaps tighter, especially the top of the knee, grip it in. All of that without pressing the ribs down, without congesting the throat. All right, and then back to Viparita Karani. Bend your knees. You can even rest the feet on the bolster now. Maybe take a little Supta Baddha Konasana. Draw the shoulders down, feet together, knees apart. Allow that inhale to flood the upper chest. Let the forehead quiet with the exhale. And then to come out, we'll slide off to the head side to come out. And then we can simply remove those blankets, off to the side. Maybe have a little something underneath the head. If your floor is cold, you could put something underneath your back as well. It's not good to lie down on a cold floor. And then cross your shins. Let those legs rest on the bolster. Arms 30 degrees from your body, palms up. So this will be our Shavasana today. After a minute or so, you can change the cross of the legs. See to it that the shoulders are rolled down. The shoulder blades are drawn down the back. There's a sweet spot where you can let the ankles and feet just sort of wrap around the edge of the bolster. And then quiet the legs, quiet the arms, quiet the face, the throat. Allow the upper eyelids to completely rest on the lower eyelids. And even let your breath rest.